Today's fleets are facing more competition than ever before. From expanding your customer base, to identifying new efficiencies for your drivers, to complying with ever-changing regulations, fleets need solutions that grow and scale with them. I'm Darren Demchuk, the VP of Product at Platform Science. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of Platform Science Fleet Solutions, specifically focusing on the Platform Science workflow application. PS Workflow helps drivers take the tedious, error-prone, manual process of load execution and converts it into a highly automated driver experience. Even as technology has progressed massively over the last few decades, many aspects of freight and logistics are still handled by essentially brute force. With PS Workflow, it's different. Our workflow solution makes it simple to fully automate your driver's dispatch execution experience, including eliminating manual data entry, providing beautiful, clear access to load information, and capturing rich, validated data back into your TMS and other back office systems. The easiest way we can describe the benefits of PS Workflow is you can upgrade your TMS without even touching it. So to get started, you can see I have a standard Platform Science driver experience in front of me. I'm going to open the PS Workflow app. You'll see here that I have a pre-plan available to me. I can open that and explore the high-level information about a load that I could potentially accept. But to get started, let's dispatch an active load to our driver. With PS Workflow, you can dispatch both active loads and loads that the driver can activate themselves. You can see this is a simple two-stop load. Readily available to me are shipment details. All of this information is provided by fleets, and you have full control over what you share with the driver. You can lock all that valuable information you've been collecting in your TMS over the years and make it available to each driver as they execute the load. Returning to the stops, I can go in here, and I can see my first stop. And I can see I have a very simple setup here where I have to arrive and then complete a loading task. But you can see that I've configured this form to be in the traditional setup. What that means is that the driver can type in whatever they want for their arrival date and time. The problems this creates for fleets is that the drivers, because they can type in whatever they want, means that they can submit invalid information. So let's go ahead and change this form to make that problem go away. There we go. As you can see, we've now set up the form to use native date time pickers for the driver. We've also set it up to pre-fill the current date time for the driver, so they don't have to type anything in anymore. And we've also configured the form to have validation logic that doesn't allow the driver to select a date or time in the future. So you can see on the screen here, we have a completed loading task, very simple, straightforward task in the truckload space. So let's set up the automation here to automatically pre-fill this value for the driver. There we go. Using PS Workflow's automation components, we can script the experience for the driver to automatically grab data about the load. This means the driver no longer has to enter anything on their own, and they can instead just confirm that everything is accurate. But let's take this a step further. What if we want to find out the seal number of the load matches the driver's dispatch seal number on the bill of lading? Let's add a question to the driver. Okay, great. You can now see that we have a yes-no question, a very simple question. It just says, does your seal number match the seal number on the bill of lading? Very common scenario for truck driving. Obviously, the most common thing is that yes, those numbers match, but let's say they don't match. Traditionally, you'd have to have the paths for both yes or no for all the questions in your macros or forms. This leads to forms that are very large, forcing the driver to have to ignore most of the content on the screen. But using our conditional logic in PS Workflow, I can compress all this down to show the driver only what they need to do right now. So in this case, I have a yes, no, and if I tap no, we can actually open up another field for the driver that's only necessary if the driver answers no to that question. So in this case, we want the driver to report a seal discrepancy. Now what's interesting here is this button that says seal discrepancy on it is actually deep linking into another application I have installed on my device, specifically the Form Messages app that we also make. So rather than having the driver manually go over to Form Messages and find the seal discrepancy app, with a little bit of logic, we can make it so that this is a simple deep link in one tap away. So I, as the driver, can tap that button, and that's taking me over into another application, opening this specific form and prompting me to fill it in. Normally this would all have been mixed into your main form and it would have been very messy for the driver, but now it's a simple, streamlined experience. So in this case, I'll say yes, my seal numbers match, and I submit, and there we go. Simple as that. So now that we've completed the first stop on our pickup and delivery route, let's move on to the next stop and see a couple options we have available there. You can see on this left card, I have the ability to change my ETA. This was traditionally something that was individual, isolated macro in the past, but now you have a nice first-class interface to do this, where a driver can see their current ETA, they can update the ETA with native date time pickers, they can select a reason for change, and all this information can be integrated in your backend to understand the changes that may happen to a driver as they execute their work. You also notice that down below, the driver has the ability to apply this to one stop or all of the stops. So if they're shifted their whole day out by 1 hour, for example, they can update the ETAs to all of the upcoming stops instead of just the next most one. So in this case, I'll close this out. And the next thing you'll notice here on the left is the ability for a driver to preview a route. So this is one tap away at all times in PS Workflow. You can see by tapping that and pulling it up, I can see the beginning and end of my route and also individual route segments and the stops and turns I have to take. And then navigation is just one tap away as well. And with our new image capture feature, fleets can configure any form to accept images from the driver natively in Workflow. This can be used for everything from capturing document images to OS&D to trailer drop sites and more. With drop-in integrations for popular TMSs such as McLeod and Trimble ICC, you can be up and running with PS Workflow in weeks, not months or years. The time and efficiency savings are real. Our customers see the ability to automate over 70% of driver load interactions directly into the TMS. And most importantly, Workflow is fully integrated with the entire Platform Science ecosystem. From navigation, hours of service, messaging, third-party applications, and even your own, you'll find all the data you need to stay competitive right at your fingertips. Thank you for joining us today. To learn more about Platform Science Workflow and all of our fleet solutions, visit platformscience.com.